Hey there, quirky folks! I am your host, Anna, and today we will be having the most uncanny battle of all time. Ant-Man is a very underrated hero in the MCU, and I guess even in the comics. He might be able to defeat Thanos in a very unique way, but you'd think that he would stand absolutely no chance against someone like Kang the Conqueror. I mean, this guy has the entire multiverse in his grasp, so how can anyone expect Ant-Man of all heroes to be able to defeat Kang? It is needless to say that Kang can take Ant-Man down in more than 100 gruesome ways. And yet, Marvel thinks that Ant-Man is good enough to not only fight Kang in a movie, but MODOK as well. So, the least we can do is try to pit these two ourselves and see whether Ant-Man would stand any chance against Kang or not. We'll be looking at the powers and abilities of both these characters separately. And then we'll see how Ant-Man would find a way to pull off a victory against this giant threat that looms over him. Before starting off, it would be nice for you guys to click on those like and subscribe buttons. It will secretly help you in life. Do it and you'll see how. With this out of our way, let's begin with Kang the Conqueror. Believed to be a descendant of Reed Richards himself, Nathaniel Richards, aka Kang, has a superior intellect. This isn't a superpower technically, but I'd say that intellectual smartness is the greatest asset one could hope to possess. Look what Tony Stark did with his intellectual prowess in the 21st century. He came up with time travel and led the Avengers to victory. So, just imagine what a smart guy from the 31st century would be able to do with his knowledge and access to advanced resources. Obviously, he'd conquer the multiverse by having time under his control. It is crazy how smart this guy is. He wrote a narrative for trillions of people throughout time and made all the universes follow that one sacred timeline. That's God-level stuff right there. Kang's intellect doesn't just make him a tech genius, but it also allows him to be a master tactician.
Don't you wonder how I'm able to get out of the way just before you kill me?
It's safe to say that he is way better than Batman at devising strategies, and he was able to unlock immortality. He Who Remains revealed that he was much older than he looked.
And I'm older. I'm older than I look.
He could be thousands of years old. In the comics, Kang is over 70 years old. But everyone from his era have improved biology, which allows them to age much slower than the people from the 21st century or the past. So, Kang actually appears to be a man in his mid-40s, but was offered immortality by the real timekeepers, and he took it to become Immortus. In the MCU, Marvel basically turned this Immortus version into He Who Remains. But anyway, this variant was able to grasp a hold of time itself. So you could say he had all the time to hone his skills and become totally unbeatable. Along with his mental prowess, Kang also learned to fight and became a skilled combatant. In the comics, he has tussled with the likes of Captain America and many others. And now that he'll probably be the villain of MCU's Secret Wars, he could end up battling several Avengers and even their variants from the multiverse. He'll do that with one of the best weapons in his arsenal, that is his futuristic suit of armor. In the comics, Kang's battle armor is produced from a rare synthetic alloy from the 40th century. So you see, this crazy person went 100 years in the future to get the most advanced armor possible. Just like Iron Man and Black Panther's latest suits, Kang's armor is also neurokinetic. It responds to his subconscious thoughts. He doesn't have any powers on his own, since he is just human. But his armor allows him some crazy superhuman capabilities like super strength. He becomes as strong as an Eternal. The durability of his armor is actually even better than vibranium. That's because there's a force field shield that protects it. This shield is about a foot away from his body, and it can extend up to 20 feet in all directions. So, Kang can actually survive a head-on nuclear blast. If his opponents manage to pass that force field, then his armor also has a second layer of protection. This suit also allows him to travel through time. And what's crazy is that he can summon any weapon from any point in time. He can assemble an infinity gauntlet within seconds. That's a way too OP ability for any character. The armor also has a self-contained atmosphere, 30-day supply of food, and a waste disposal system. So he can literally float in space for at least 30 days straight with just his armor. And the final craziest bit about his armor is that his helmet transfers his mind into a new body if he ever dies. Besides the armor, this master of time travel can send other people through time and space. He does that through his Light of the Century sphere. It travels at faster than light speeds and has unlimited fuel. And it can also hold people captive. After the sphere, we usually see him using his hover pad in his battles. He also has several other weapons, but we might see some original ones in the MCU. Now enough about Kang. Let's look at the smaller opponent he'll be taking on, Ant-Man. Compared to the god-level character like Kang, Scott Lang is obviously far inferior. But he knows his strengths and he uses them very effectively. He may not be very smart with technical stuff, but he has a high intellect for sure. He has proven to be an expert thief and a master tactician. And that's what Kang is going to use him for, to pull off another heist.
I can get you home and give you more time if you help me. So, what's it gonna be, AntMan?
Moving on, Scott learned to fight like a pro, and to go along with this, he has his special shrinking and expanding suits. People won't say that Ant-Man has the best looking suits within the MCU, but these suits surely pack some amazing little features which allow the wearers to shrink and grow at will. And if you look closer, these features include suit wirings, which are basically tubes that run on the exterior of the suits. These wirings carry the Pym particles throughout the suit and allow the wearers to alter their size. But they are not present in the suits from Ant-Man 2 and Quantumania. By this time, Ant-Man got a major upgrade as these wirings were pushed on the interior to give them extra protection. Then there are the hand buttons on both hands that trigger the size alteration. But I believe in order to prevent pressing these buttons by mistake, these new chest pieces have been added to all the latest shrinking suits. After getting multiple upgrades, Scott Lang also got a very practical, retractable helmet. He doesn't have a lot of weapons, but there are two great assets that he uses really well. First, he uses little shrunken styled Pym discs which come in two variants. The red ones turn objects and people small, while the blue ones turn things big. We've seen several instances for how both these variants come in really handy.
Throw it at this. Now! Oh, come on!
But another asset that Scott hasn't used properly for a long while is his EMP communication device. His helmet carries this EMP device, which he uses to control his little ant buddies. And we've seen him use ants to a great effect in the past, although he may not find any ants to control in the quantum realm. So it will be interesting to see how Scott Lang holds his own in the battle of Kang vs. Ant-Man. In one of our past videos, I've already explained why Ant-Man might end up dying in Quantumania. It has already been teased with Ant-Man's broken helmet and Scott's beaten up look in the trailer. And in the Comic-Con trailer, Kang literally asked Scott whether he had killed him before. That shows his dominance. He has killed so many Avengers in his lifetime that he doesn't even remember killing someone like Ant-Man in the past. So really, how can Scott manage to secure a win against his enemy? His strength as Giant Man won't do him any good as Kang's suit is indestructible. And if someone like Falcon was to detect his presence in his ant state, I bet that Kang could too. I also mentioned that he cannot use his little ant buddies in the quantum realm, so he is probably helpless in this battle. He was able to wreck Tony's suit, but Kang's suit won't have any openings for him to sneak into. So the way I see it, Kang would obliterate Ant-Man in almost all scenarios. Even in Loki, He Who Remains died only when he wanted Sylvie to kill him.
See you soon.
But I'm pretty sure that Kang wouldn't choose to die like his other variant. So Scott would have to use his best weapon against him, that is time. He will have to be patient and find Kang in his most vulnerable state when his guard and his armor are down. And then he could use the old Thanos killing theory to take down Kang. You see, he would shrink as small as bacteria and find a way to enter Kang's body when he isn't wearing his helmet. And then Scott would get bigger and explode Kang from within. This is the only way I believe Ant-Man could take him down. Or perhaps, Ant-Man usually works well in a team. So he could maybe distract Kang and make him lower his guard. And either Cassie or Hope could go subatomic and enter his body to kill Kang. Hope did use this move in What If, so maybe she could be the one to do it again. But even then, another Kang variant would be there to replace him. So in hindsight, Kang is like Hydra. Even if he dies, another Kang shall take his place. And I believe that's what will happen in Quantumania as well. With all his strength and skills, Scott will do the impossible and kill Kang. But another variant would just step in and lead us into the Kang dynasty. Okay, that's all for now. How do you think Ant-Man would do against Kang? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next one.